Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. When you look at your bank account, when you think about your financial future, does it reflect who you truly are? Or does it reflect a version of you that was assigned to you? Because here's the truth most people never confront. You are not broke because you lack information. You are not stuck because you don't know enough. You are broke, you are stuck, because your identity is trained to stay that way. Think about that for a moment. Every financial decision you've ever made didn't come from nowhere. It came from a blueprint that was drawn before you even had a say in it, by your parents, by your culture, by the stories you absorbed when you were too young to question them. And that blueprint, it's been running your life ever since. Today, we're going to tear that blueprint down, and we're going to rebuild it, not with wishful thinking, not with positive affirmations, but with something far more ruthless. Something that has shaped empires, toppled kingdoms, and built fortunes that lasted centuries. We're going to build with the architect mindset, and our architect, Niccolò Machiavelli. Welcome back to Mind Goals. I'm your host, and today we're talking about the architect mindset, Machiavellian blueprints for rebuilding your financial identity. Part 1. The reality principle. Let's start with a hard pill. Most financial advice you've ever received is built on a lie. Not a malicious lie, but a comforting one. The lie that says if you just work hard enough, if you're just good enough, if you just believe enough, the money will come. Machiavelli would have laughed at that. In 1513, exiled from Florence, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote The Prince, a book that would become the most infamous political treatise in Western history. But it wasn't a book about how things should be. It was a book about how things actually are. Listen to his own words. Since it has been my intention to write something which may be of use to the understanding reader, it has seemed wiser to me to follow the real truth of the matter rather than what we imagine it to be. For imagination has created many principalities and republics that have never been seen or known to have any real existence. For how we live is so different from how we ought to live that he who studies what ought to be done rather than what is done will learn the way to his downfall rather than to his preservation. Let that sink in. Machiavelli is saying, stop studying how life ought to be, study how it is. And here's where this applies to you and your money. Your financial identity, that deep unconscious sense of who you are with money, has been shaped by ought to be thinking. You ought to be generous. You ought to be humble. You ought not to care about money. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. Wealth is luck. These are the stories you were given, and they are killing your financial future. Because money doesn't care about your stories. Money doesn't care about your intentions. Money respects one thing and one thing only: strategy. The architect mindset begins with a brutal commitment to reality. You have to look at your financial life not as you wish it were, but as it actually is. No excuses, no justifications, no victimhood. This is where I am. This is the blueprint I've been running, and this blueprint is not serving me. That's step 1, and it's the hardest step you'll ever take. Part 2. Virtù and Fortuna, the two forces that shape your finance. Now, let's talk about how Machiavelli understood success. He believed that everything in life, every outcome, every victory, every failure was the product of two forces. He called them Virtù and Fortuna. Fortuna is luck, chance, circumstance, the hand you were dealt, the family you were born into, the economy you grew up in, the financial education you never received. Virtù is something else. It's not virtue in the moral sense. It's something far more practical. Virtù is your ability, your cunning, your decisiveness, your willingness to take risks, your capacity to see an opportunity and seize it. Machiavelli believed that fortune, luck, controls about half of what happens to us, but the other half, that belongs to Virtù, that belongs to you. And here's the key. Virtue isn't just about working harder. It's about seeing clearly. It's about recognizing when fortune has handed you an opportunity and having the skill and the nerve to grab it. Machiavelli wrote, "These opportunities made these men's fortunes, and it was because of their remarkable qualities that they were able to recognize and grasp the opportunities." Now, apply this to your financial identity. Most people live their entire financial lives at the mercy of Fortuna. They wait for luck. They wait for the right break. They wait for the economy to improve. They wait for someone to save them. And while they're waiting, they stay broke. The architect mindset doesn't wait. The architect mindset prepares, because Machiavelli taught that fortune favors the prepared. You can't control the economy. You can't control your upbringing. You can't control the hand you were dealt. But you can control your virtue. You can build your skills. You can sharpen your judgment. You can learn to read situations. You can develop the patience to wait for the right moment and the ruthlessness to strike when it comes. This is what it means to rebuild your financial identity. You stop being a passenger in your financial life and become the architect. Part 3. The Blueprint: Designing Your New Financial Identity. So how do you actually do this? How do you rebuild? Let's go back to Machiavelli's core insight. He understood that power in politics, in business, in finance doesn't come from being loved. It comes from being strategic. He famously wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved. Now, I'm not telling you to become a tyrant with your money, but I am telling you that your relationship with money needs to be based on something stronger than warm feelings. Your financial identity needs to be built on strategy, not sentiment. Here's what that looks like in practice. Step 1. Diagnose the old blueprint. Ask yourself, what story did I inherit about money? Was it money is hard to come by? Rich people are corrupt. I'm just not good with numbers. People like me don't get wealthy. These aren't neutral observations. These are architectural plans, blueprints that have been quietly constructing your financial reality since childhood. And the terrifying thing is they're self-fulfilling. Your identity produces your behavior. Your behavior produces your outcomes. Your outcomes confirm your identity, and the cycle repeats. If your financial identity is, "I'm just bad with money," every financial choice you make will quietly confirm that. You have to break that cycle, and you break it by redesigning the blueprint. Step 2. Design the new identity. Machiavelli understood something profound. The appearance of virtue is often more important than the virtue itself. This isn't about being fake. It's about understanding that identity is performative. You become what you practice. So here's the question. Who is the person you need to become to achieve your financial goals? Not what do I need to do, but who do I need to be? Because goals are temporary, identity is permanent. If you set a goal to save $10,000, you might achieve it. But if you don't change your identity, you'll eventually revert. You'll spend it. You'll lose it. You'll sabotage yourself because your identity will pull you back to what feels familiar. But if you rebuild your identity, if you become someone who naturally saves, who naturally invests, who naturally builds, then the behaviors follow effortlessly. So design that person. Write down who they are. What do they believe about money? What do they do every day? What do they not do? Then, and this is the Machiavellian part, you act as if you already are that person. Because the line between acting and becoming is thinner than you think. Step 3. Build through small, consistent wins. Machiavelli knew that you don't build an empire overnight. You build it brick by brick, day by day. And here's the beauty of identity change. Small financial wins change identity, not because the wins are big, but because they're consistent. Consistency, accumulated long enough, eventually overwhelms even the most stubborn inherited story about who you are with money. Every time you make a smart financial decision, you're not just improving your bank account. You're rewriting the blueprint. You're telling yourself a new story. You're building evidence for a new identity. Part 4. The Architect's Tools, Strategies for Financial Rebuilding. Now let's get practical. Here are the specific strategies, the tools of the architect that you can use to rebuild your financial identity. Tool 1. Strategic Patience. Machiavelli warned against those who rise solely by good fortune. He wrote that such people have little trouble in rising, but much in keeping atop. They have not any difficulties on the way up because they fly, but they have many when they reach the summit. In other words, easy come, easy go. Real wealth isn't built on lucky breaks. It's built on preparation. It's built on planting seeds long before the harvest arrives. The architect mindset understands that financial rebuilding takes time. Years, not months. But every day you're laying another brick. Every day you're strengthening the foundation. Tool 2. Strategic Invisibility. Machiavelli understood the power of not revealing your hand. In the modern world, this means stop telling everyone your financial plans. Not every truth builds connection. When you broadcast your goals, you create social pressure. You create expectations. And often, you create resistance from people who are threatened by your ambition or who secretly want you to fail so they don't feel bad about their own inaction. The architect builds in silence and reveals only when the structure is complete. Tool 3. Strategic Relationships. Machiavelli knew that obtaining the goodwill of the populace is one of the best ways to maintain power. In financial terms, surround yourself with people who elevate your financial identity, not people who enable your old patterns, not people who make you feel comfortable in your mediocrity. Your network is part of your blueprint. If everyone around you thinks broke is normal, you'll stay broke. If everyone around you is building, you'll build too. Tool 4. Strategic Self-Investment. Here's something Machiavelli understood that most people miss. Gold is not sufficient to find good soldiers, but good soldiers are more than sufficient to find gold. Money follows competence, not the other way around. The architect invests in themselves first, in skills, in knowledge, in the ability to create value, because when you have virtue, when you have genuine capability, the money will find you. Stop chasing money. Start building yourself. And arrange the conditions so that money arrives as a consequence of your alignment. Part 5. Protecting your empire, defending your new identity. Here's the part nobody talks about. Once you start rebuilding your financial identity, there will be resistance, from outside and from inside. Machiavelli warned that the greatest threats to power often come from within, and the same is true for your financial identity. Your old self, the one that was comfortable being broke, the one that believed it wasn't capable, that old self is going to fight back. It's going to whisper, "This isn't you. This is fake. You're not really that person. You'll fail eventually." This is where the architect mindset becomes ruthless. Machiavelli praised Caesar Borgia not because he was kind, but because he was decisive. When Borgia needed to restore order, he appointed a harsh governor, and when the job was done, he publicly executed that governor to show that the cruelty had not originated with him. Now I'm not telling you to execute anyone, but I am telling you this: you need to be ruthless with your own excuses. The old identity will try to pull you back. It will tempt you with comfort. It will tempt you with the familiar pain of financial struggle. You have to cut it off decisively. Every time you catch yourself falling into the old story, stop. Every time you hear yourself say, "I can't afford this," when you mean, "I'm choosing not to prioritize this," correct it. Every time you feel the pull of financial self-sabotage, interrupt the pattern. Because the architect doesn't let the old blueprint stand, the architect demolishes it. And here's the liberating truth. The more you practice the new identity, the stronger it becomes. The old identity weakens. The resistance fades. Machiavelli wrote that those who rely too much on luck, on Fortuna, ultimately lose everything. But those who build with virtue, with skill, strategy, and relentless preparation, they endure. You are building something that will endure, something that will outlast your doubts, your fears, and your old stories. Closing The Architect's Call. So here's where we land. Your financial identity is not fixed. It is not destiny. It is not something you were born with or doomed to. It is a structure, and structures can be redesigned. They can be rebuilt. Machiavelli's great gift to the world wasn't cynicism. It was clarity. It was the courage to look at reality as it is, not as we wish it to be, and to build from there. That's the architect mindset. It's the willingness to say, this blueprint I've been running, it was given to me. It wasn't chosen by me, and I am going to tear it down and build something better. It's the commitment to develop your virtue, your skill, your judgment, your capacity to see and seize opportunity, so that when fortune smiles, you're ready. It's the discipline to rebuild, brick by brick, day by day, until the new identity becomes so strong that the old one can't even find a way back in. And it's the understanding that this isn't about being perfect. It's about being strategic. It's about being the architect of your own financial life. The world does not reward the righteous. It rewards the strategic. You can keep running someone else's blueprint. You can keep wondering why nothing changes. You can keep hoping that someday, somehow, things will be different. Or you can pick up the pen. You can design. You can build. You can become the architect of a financial identity that serves you. The choice is yours. But remember, the blueprint you're running right now, it was written by someone else, and the only person who can rewrite it, the only person is you. This is Mind Goals. Go build something that lasts. Before we go, let me leave you with one more thought from Machiavelli, a challenge really. He believed that fortune is like a river. When the waters are calm, you can build banks and dikes to prepare for the flood. But if you wait until the flood comes, it's too late. The flood is coming, it always does. Economic downturns, unexpected expenses, life's inevitable chaos. The question isn't whether the flood will come. It's whether you've built the infrastructure to survive it and to thrive after it. That infrastructure is your financial identity. It's the blueprint you're running. And if it's weak, the flood will wash it away. So build strong, build deep, build with the architect mindset. And when the flood comes, and it will, you'll be the one standing on solid ground while everyone else is swept away. That's the power of the architect. That's the power of you. Thanks for listening to Mind Goals. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe, leave a review, and most importantly, start building. We'll see you next time.